Today's blog is about Wing Chun, which is definitely a controversial topic on the web right now. I think just from some of my previous blogs and gauging the temperature of martial arts on YouTube and the internet, a lot of people like to pick on Wing Chun, and I think one of the reasons why they do that is it's a really kind of out there kind of style. And I think unconsciously, I think people don't realize that Bruce Lee's first style was Wing Chun. And it's interesting as well that that's kind of how he came into the martial arts and made such an impact. Point A for him was Wing Chun. So when that's your tradition of martial arts, my first style was Taekwondo. That creates a framework for you to base off of. I learned wrestling and jiu-jitsu later, and I was like, this is the style. So you kind of start at a style that either is the style for you, works well with your body type, or is not the style for you, but it teaches you certain body mechanics. Taekwondo taught me the nature of the hips and how to do kicks properly, how not to do kicks properly, free sparring, timing, one-step sparring, all these things. But wrestling, grappling, which I did back in 2000, really taught me a lot. For one, the adrenal dump in your body is important, because if you can't fight and control that adrenal dump, you are going to be all over the place when you get into your first fight or your first MMA match or your first no holds barred, or you're in the street and somebody hits you out of nowhere and your body just becomes alive. Your technique goes out the window, and so that'll be something for future articles. But anyway, back to the blog. I'm sorry I get sidetracked. There's so much to offer and talk about. But Bruce Lee's first style was Wing Chun, and that taught him a lot of control punching, Cha Sao, which was, learning how to work with an opponent's energy, aggressive energy, to take what they give you and use it against them, which is an old martial arts adage. But Bruce Lee did discard, inevitably, this style, and saw some stuff on Dan and Santo where he said that Bruce wasn't even really that high up on the wooden dummy forms. I think he said he was like at a 5 or a 6, and I'm not even sure how many wooden dummy forms they are. I think the wooden dummy is yet another way to practice with an opponent and, develop those nerve endings and that touch hit process of Wing Chun, and it's something eventually I'll get back into. But in line with Bruce's philosophy of taking what is useful, he felt like he trained with the best. IP Man, or IP Man's grandson, was Bruce. And if anybody knows the answer to that question, please post it here. I'd have to go back and look it up. But I know that IP wouldn't train Bruce directly because he was considered not foreign, but he had some foreign blood. I think Bruce's mother was German or part German, something like that. Anyway, the Chinese are very strict on who they'll train and who they won't, to keep the blood lineage there. And Bruce, by far, was one of the most amazing martial artists in the world. And he even put Wing Chun down and took what he felt was useful out of Wing Chun and put it into JKD, Jun Fan Gung Fu, which was his martial art, and then it later evolved into Jeet Kune Do, and he had the confidence to found his own martial art and move on. So, yes, Bruce did discard Wing Chun, and I guess to add to the fire on the internet here, that's what he did. He took a lot of the punching and the things that worked for him and the things that he felt were worth taking, and he evolved those into Jun Fan Jeet Kune Do, which had everything: grappling, Muay Thai kicks, joint locking, Chai Sao, Lap Sao, Ban Sao, all those things from Wing Chun that he felt was useful. And so Bruce Lee did discard Wing Chun, but he also took with him what he felt like he could use. In my training, I've discarded Taekwondo. I have thought about going back and finishing my black belt since I got to through the red belt levels. So that's something to consider maybe in the future, just to have the belt and say, hey, I got my black belt, you know. So anyway, just thoughts for today to just take what you find useful in your martial arts, because nothing's as useless as getting out on the street or getting mugged or somebody attacking you, and you've got a martial art that just does not perform. Create a martial art that does perform for you, because in the end, it's all about defense. I mean, who's going to be an MMA fighter forever? You know, some people can be a teacher, but hopefully they're not out there teaching a style that just doesn't function well in street combat, MMA, keeping you healthy. You know, Taekwondo, I think, has some great defense abilities, but I think as a style, as far as self-defense, I think it, you know, maybe they're teaching the ground game now. I don't know, but that can even be limited. I mean, you've got to get into the ground ineptly and make sure that every facet of your game works, and that you've got the endurance, you've got the speed, you've got the technique, and you've got the style that is going to work for you. So anyway, this has been my blog for the day, and I hope you guys are doing well.